Welcome back to Tiny T Gaming. Today I'm going to be talking about the recent lore update, so if you don't want to be spoiled for the new Guy Haley book Archmagos, please turn away now. So without further ado, let's get into it. Basically, Guilliman has managed to cross over into Imperium Nihilus and is currently waging war there. As such, it will only be a matter of time before both the Lion and Guilliman meet. This meeting has long been awaited within the setting, as these are the only two Primarchs left alive and active on the Loyalist side, to our knowledge. I'm not expecting anything that will be a complete negative on the Imperial side from this. Yes, the Primarchs will undoubtedly disagree on application of tactics and the priority of resources, but overall I do think they will simply put any and all differences aside to work together. How that looks though is anyone's guess, but I think that Guilliman will acknowledge the following and the cult of forces that the Lion manages to muster through his cult of personality and simply the fact of who he is, and thus will allow him to wage war of the Imperium survival as he sees fit. Whether that means the Lion musters a force larger than a simple 1,000 Astartes, or commandeers Imperial Navy, Astra Militarum, and other forces and assets, is most likely, as he will naturally gather his sons to him, both the established chapters and the wayward sons of the fallen, as he's already done so, naming them the Risen. Guilliman will most likely simply want to unleash his brother with greater assets, affording him forces from within his own Crusadan host, as well as the usual in Primarchs reinforcements. How many though, who can say, for the Indomitus Crusade is effectively done by my understanding at this point, and its gathered hosts have been split, the unnumbered sons being no more by this point. Perhaps the Lion will be granted the titles that Lord Commander Dante was given, replacing the Astartes with the intellectual and tactical brilliance of a Primarch, which is fitting, as no matter how good Dante is, he does not meet the same standard as the Lion. I have said I believe they will put their difference aside, but I do think their points will be aired and quickly. The Lion will be unhappy with the splitting of the legions, the fact his brother is now Imperial Regent in place of his father, as I'm sure the old Lion would have coveted the position for himself, and maybe thinks he could do a better job. That's not to say the Lion is power hungry. He seems to have changed since his long sleep, and with it there will hopefully be a more reasonable reaction and response to the actions that Guilliman has put into motion. I think it fitting that Guilliman is the figurehead though, the leader, and the Lion is taking the role of the protector, seeing the people as his priority. Now, another point is whether Guilliman will question the Lion on Cipher. The Cipher was instrumental in delivering Guilliman to the Emperor for being imprisoned and then escaping. Now, obviously, everyone has a different opinion on Cipher, but I do think he is somewhat loyalist, and he is operating off some agenda that was laid out to him 10 millennia ago, before the splitting of the legions and before we had Caliban being blown up during the Lion's return, and then the Warp Rift opening, and then basically Caliban being ruined and the Lion being put into a deep sleep. So I think he's loyal to some degree, and his agenda and motives reflect this. Regardless of what all the minor actions he might have done over time, he has managed to save the first returned loyalist Primarch from the clutches of chaos and delivering him to the Emperor, and all he wanted was an audience with the Emperor, which then he didn't get. Do I think he should have got that audience? Yes, because he saved Guilliman. Now, obviously, we can say what we want. You had that novel years ago, probably, many years ago now, where Cipher turned up, killed some Dark Angels, neophytes or novitiates, and then left with Gene-seee, and you had the chaplain and the apothecary kick off at each other before one killed the other. But very interesting to see what actually happens, because the lore around Cipher has been developed in recent years, and what with the whole Horus Heresy, the Siege of Terror novels now, and then we had Corswain working alongside Cipher, but then I do think that Cipher is dead, so has Corswain taken up the mantle? Because it would be very, very interesting if Corswain turns out to be Cipher, And he is an incredible legionary, He is one of the top loyalist warriors from the Horus Heresy. And if he's managed to survive and thrive to the point of the 41st millennium, he could well be testament to the fact that not all of the Dark Angels are self-serving or have weird motives, and that simply he has been operating off the agenda that the Lion has given him 10,000 years prior. But that's a bit of a tangent, but I would really like to see more on the lore of Cipher, and then it could really open up the lore on the culture and the inner workings of the inner circles within the old Dark Angels Legion. And then obviously, will the Lion seek to rebuild the Legion that he left 10,000 years ago? Is he going to want his sons from all of the different chapters to reunite and form some tens of thousands of Astartes strong formation to go out and take the fight to Chaos? And what's going to happen with Luther? Will he be honest about Luther and tell Guilliman? Will they both have to team up to fight Luther, as he had a large gathering of Astartes with him, or the Fallen? Or will Luther return to the fold now and become another asset in Imperium Nihilus that the Lion and Guilliman can make use of? It's all these sorts of things I find really interesting, and we could really do with answers and explanations and expanding of the lore right now. But that has just been my thoughts and a bit of a tangent. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the channel, please like and subscribe. It really helps with your support. Thanks. I'll see you in the next one.